Giving it a couple of more minutes just because of the change in venue, just to make sure everybody has a chance to get in. And my chief of staff, Meg Butler, is passing around a sign-in sheet. We normally have a sign-in sheet, obviously, at the back, and we had to make some changes today. So if you don't mind signing in, just so we know who you are and where you live. No, I'm kidding. Who you are and what group you represent. If you represent a group, or if you're just here for yourself, that's fine too. Thank you very much, and we'll start in a couple minutes. We want to welcome you all, and we're going to actually open our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you will all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Our first order of business is an administrative one for our delegation. Every year we elect a delegation chair, and there's actually, in the eyes of the General Assembly, technically the 2 senators form the Carroll County Senate delegation, and the 4 delegates form the Carroll County House delegation. We obviously, some bigger counties, they actually meet separately. We always obviously meet together. So we're going to have the election for the House chair, who functions as kind of the overall chair. And in the Senate, we've had a 1-to-1 deadlock with Senator West voting for me and me voting for Senator West. So since I live in the county, I've been persuaded I have to be the chair for the Senate. But we do want to have the delegation, the House delegation chair. So do I hear a nomination? Delegate Stanko, just punch it. Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't light up. There you go. So first off, can I point a personal privilege? Okay. All right. So I want to thank Delegate Rose for her leadership. She's been critical for all of us as freshman legislators over the last 2 years, and it's hard to understand if you're not down there, but the speed at which things come is pretty crazy. So I just want to say that. But I want to nominate Chris Tomlinson for delegation chair.
Do I hear a second? Just touch it.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate that, and it has been a pleasure working with you and with everyone. And I am very happy to second the nomination for Chris for delegation chair. He's really jumped in and taken a lot of leadership positions and done a good job. And really, as freshmen, they've really made their mark. And so it's a great group of people that I get to work with during the crazy session and all year, actually. So very happy to nominate you as the second.
And I think I heard a third from Delegate Boucher, but why don't we go ahead and I'll call a vote. All in favor of Delegate Tomlinson as the House Chair? Yeah. All right. Any opposed? Okay. Then it's settled. Congratulations, Delegate Tomlinson. And we will go ahead and move, and we'll kind of go back and forth to go ahead and move on to the legislative hearing. The first thing we're going to do, and I'm actually handing it over to you, but the first thing we're going to do is hear from our Carroll County commissioners and their representatives about legislative requests that they have. These are local bill requests, meaning that they're for Carroll County, but they have to go through the General Assembly. So with that, I don't know who we have up first. Who would like to present for Carroll County government? And for the public and for anybody that was interested, there are copies of the bill request here. I'm trying. You turn on your mic. I'm turning my mic off. Oh, you know what? We ought to do bill by bill. I'm sorry. Let's do bill by bill. We didn't have it in order. Let's start with, why don't we, we normally do it bill by bill. Apologies. Let's do the Carroll County bond request bill first. These obviously don't have bill numbers because we haven't drafted the bills yet.
So we use bond funding as part of our capital plan. We have to get General Assembly authority to issue those bonds. This is the same bill we ask for every year. The number is not known yet. After we meet with the commissioners in January for an early version of the CIP, we'll send the delegation the number we're actually looking for.
For reasons we don't know, they always pass one of ours and veto the other one.
That's right. They only pass. We found out we always put bills in both houses for delegation bills so that a lot of times they'll pass them both, but just in case one gets hung up. But they had to veto one version because apparently it would have doubled the bond authority had they let both bills pass. As a unique thing. So the public is aware and people watching, this is the Carroll County Commissioner form of government has to get permission to borrow from the state for their bonds, but we had outstanding bond sale. Carroll County is AAA bond rating with just an outstanding rating and had a great bond sale yesterday, so very good shape. We obviously don't vote on the bill until we get the number and discuss the number and all of that, but generally we've always been supportive of the request from the county. So thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions?
And just in case there's any doubt, even if the General Assembly gave us twice the authority, we're not actually looking for it.
All right, and then next up, whoever we have here from the county to speak on ability to refuse building permits for companies who owe property taxes.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Hobbs, the comptroller for Carroll County. We had submitted this bill request last year, and it didn't go the whole way through, so we're submitting it again. The Department of Comptroller, as well as the county attorney's department, puts a lot of time and effort into this. We don't really have a way to withhold any or enforce when a company or a business doesn't pay their personal property taxes, other than to go out and try to claim and take hold of all that personal property, and we don't have the time or the force to go out and get the small amount of the personal property. So we're asking, a lot of them have businesses that get permits through our permitting office, and we're asking that we have the ability to look that up, see if they owe the taxes, and then stop the permit until they pay that personal property tax.
Question?
Yep, Delegate Rose?
So I just have a question. So what percentage of businesses in the county would this apply to? How often do you have this problem?
We have quite a list. I don't have the exact percentage, but we do have quite a list that gets written off over the time. I know last year we wrote a lot of money off for the county because we had outstanding personal property tax bills that were not collected. And the reason they don't get collected after the county attorney goes and does all the legwork is that a lot of times these businesses go out of business, or they can apply and change their name just a little bit. So then that business closes for the state, through the state, and they go through the process to reapply and get a new business license, and then that's no longer valid, that we cannot collect on that because the business doesn't exist anymore.
It would be great to get some data
Sure.
on that, as far as, you know, the amount of money that is not coming in, and then also the number of businesses. Is there an appeal process, or is there, so if there's a discrepancy between they feel like they have paid it and maybe records are not reflecting that, is there a process for that to go through?
They can come to our office and we can go through that and make sure when the businesses are filling out their personal property tax return, they're paying it to the state, and the state then sends us an assessment. They have the option to, at that point, to appeal their assessment on their personal property, so they don't have to pay as much either. And that's based on the records that they submit to the state at that point in time. But certainly, if they think they've paid something, they can come to our office and we can work with them through that to make sure.
Is that the same thing as when you go online and you can see if somebody is in good standing?
Yes.
It's the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. Are you finding that working with the state, the comptroller's office, is that working better? Is the communication better? Is the reporting better? Because we get a lot of complaints on a number of areas with the comptroller's office. So are you finding that that's working out well?
We get, honestly, we go on and do the research ourselves in our office, because it is updated right there directly. Only if we have a question do we have to reach out, but we do have a good working relationship with the state of Maryland's comptroller department. But, you know, we get the information directly from them.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Stanka?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the appeal process. I think the reason this got held up last year, that we didn't move it and it got pulled back, was we wanted to make it where during an appeal that the permitting couldn't be held up. Was that addressed in this redraft? My concern is that somebody wants to put an appeal and then they're waiting on the government to give them an answer, and then their project slowed up, and then they win the appeal, and then you're back into the issue.
I think we did go back and put that in, but I will,
I'm looking at
no.
the draft. It says, the Office of Permits may not deny the issuance of the permit if the applicant submits evidence to the satisfaction of the office that the applicant has disputed the amount
Right.
of unpaid personal property taxes. So during the dispute,
They
the
will-
permit's not going to be held up.
No, we
Okay,
could not
thanks.
hold it for that.
Delegate Boucher?
Thank you, Chairman. I like saying that. Sounds pretty good. And Ms. Hobbs, good to see you. I feel like I just seen you last night.
But we did.
Are other jurisdictions utilizing this process? Do we see it as an example on how effective it is?
Actually, there are no other jurisdictions currently using this, so we would be the leader in the,
All right, so we're a pioneer.
yes.
Thank
This is
you.
a new.
Senator Reedy?
And thank you for all these answers. And we definitely want to be sure people are doing what they should be doing. But I am curious, because I really hate the personal property tax on business. I actually think it's a really bad policy. That's just my opinion. I'm not blaming you for collecting it. It's the law. How much? I'm not asking you to give me down to the penny, but how much revenue do we get from the personal property tax in Carroll County?
Oh,
Or maybe as a percentage of our revenue?
it's a good minute. Ted, do you know? Oh, he left. Oh, Ted
Oh,
didn't.
Ted.
I forget what the budget amount is, but it's definitely in the millions of dollars. I just, off the
That's
top of
okay.
my head, I don't have, if I had my
Sure.
financial statements, I
No,
would.
no, no, it's fine. I was
Sorry.
curious. Yeah, no, I think we want to look at it closely, so,
There's quite a few businesses in Carroll County that filed the personal property tax return. And the state doesn't charge personal property tax because they're getting their $300
Yes.
every.
which I really hate. But yes, that's the
So-
$300 fee to,
To
yes.
file the personal property return, and then the county, the only way is to do the fee, and we have,
Understood.
so.
Okay. If you can get that information for us, would be great, but thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yep.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else want to testify on this particular proposed bill? All right. And then we will move on to the next county proposed bill, and that is the one that requires background checks for county employees.
Hi, I'm Christy Bixler. I'm the HR Director for Carroll County Government, and I am here to request a revision to the current act in regards to what positions we're allowed to request criminal background checks on. So the current act indicates that we can do it for individuals that are performing work related to inspections, approval or denial of a permit, a license, or any other grant of authority, those that work in the county commissioner's office, the sheriff's office, the state's attorney's office, circuit court or county attorney's office, those that collect or handle money, and those that are responsible for the care or supervision of a minor. My request is to revise the act to incorporate allowing us to do criminal background checks for all prospective employees rather than singling out a particular group of employees. That list of individuals that we do already do background checks is about 2/3 of our employee base. What we're looking to do is do the criminal background checks so that we can ensure workplace safety, minimize any theft or fraud, and also make it fair across the board so that we're not doing criminal background checks on some but not others. The process currently for those that are required to do the background check is that we complete the background check, we notify the applicant if there is a record that comes back. We ask that applicant to provide us with information regarding the conviction. We take a look at that in regards to the position that they're being hired for, the amount of time it's been since the conviction, any rehabilitation that has taken place, and really make a determination at that time if it's okay to proceed with employment. So, as I said, we're asking that we be allowed to do this for all county positions that we're hiring for. There are several other counties that were able to share with me that they do this for all positions, including Allegheny, Baltimore County, Hartford, Kent, Cecil, Carrollton, Dorchester, and St. Mary's.
Delegate Rose?
Couple questions. So the list that you went over that's on this sheet, so you're already doing it for all of these offices?
We are doing it for these positions, yes.
Okay. Is this going to be retroactive?
No. So this would be going forward upon, well, as regarding what the act says, we would do it going forward from whatever date that's indicated.
And then you said prospective employees or volunteers. Does this include appointed board members of different boards? Like the BZA, planning?
We do not, I don't think Tim, do you know if we do them? No? We do not do those in our office, in the HR office.
Okay. And one other question, but I'm forgetting it. If I think of it, I'll push my button again, but I appreciate that. Thank you for your answers.
Sure, you're welcome.
Did you say whether or not, I know you said that this is for prospective county employees. Do you know if this is before or after the interview?
So this is after a conditional offer of employment is made to the
Okay.
applicant. And then we take a look at that and we can pull the conditional offer of employment back, but it is after that.
Okay. I was going to say I know before I got in there, I think it was 2020, there was and I know that a few of them would remember the ban the box legislation, but I think that had to do with doing the background check prior to the first interview, so we're good here?
Yep, we
Okay.
don't do it till after the conditional offer of employment.
Senator Reedy?
One other question. So for fire EMS, because now we're hiring fire EMS.
Yeah.
How does that, is that already part of you can already do background checks
Yeah,
on
we're
them?
already doing
Okay.
that. We believe that falls under the care or supervision of
Oh,
a
sure.
minor
Yeah,
potential.
okay.
So yes, that's all part of the process for
Yeah,
them.
for us, the challenge will be, anytime we have these bills, there's a faction of people in the General Assembly that the committees these have to go through that they always are saying, are you going to, if somebody's going to drive a county truck and they've had a drunk driving, then that's obviously relevant. If they're going to drive a county truck and they had a trespassing charge from 12 years ago,
Right.
right? I mean, it's just common sense. You're going to,
Which is why we go through the process of the interactive process of talking to them, asking them to respond to the charges or to the convictions that are on their record, and then providing us with any rehabilitation or anything like that, and then we take that all into consideration.
because the county has enough challenge, I'm sure, everybody's looking to hire people nowadays. So, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Delegate Boucher?
Thank you. Would this have a positive impact upon general business liability in any way?
I think it does. I think it mitigates our risk for potential negligent hires. So making sure that we're looking at the backgrounds of individuals. So God forbid something happens in the workplace, whether it be workplace violence or an accident or something like that. We at least did our due diligence to make sure that we checked into somebody and that there's nothing that really should have thrown up any red flags.
Well, that sells for me.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And does anybody else have any comments or testimony for that one? All right, thank you. And next bill we've got is the Sunday hunting expansion.
Good evening. The Board of Carroll County Commissioners request an expansion of deer hunting during the deer season on private property to span the entire deer hunting season. So of 23 counties in Maryland, 22 allow deer hunting on Sundays. And of those 22, there are 5 counties, Allegheny, Cecil, Garrett, and St. Mary's in Washington, that allow Sunday deer hunting on private property for every single Sunday through the deer season. So the request is that this legislation be submitted to allow Carroll County to utilize every single Sunday on private property for deer hunting. That would constitute 5 Sundays.
I have a question.
Delegate Rose?
Okay. We had a similar bill, I don't know how many years ago now. Have the sportsmen, have the horse breeders, the horse people weighed in on this? Because this was surprisingly very controversial, because the Sunday use of riding horses, we came to an agreement, a compromise, and so my concern is, have we heard from that group of folks about this? Because it became a big issue. So I am very pro hunting. My husband hunts, have no problem with it at all. But the people that like to ride horses for their enjoyment, the problem with those extra days was an issue. So I'm just wondering if you've heard from anyone, or if they've been reached out to.
Yeah, Delegate Rose, that's a good question. So I have not heard from anybody in the equestrian community regarding this expansion. My district does include the Carroll County Equestrian Center, so I'm sure if there is a concern, I'm going to hear from them, and I am in contact with them often. I can tell you that 4 of these 5 days are archery, so in terms of noise, that's mitigated completely. And if anybody's familiar with archery and bow, that's like a 25-yard, 50-yard maximum range. The county did recently allow the use of e-bikes on equestrian trails about a year ago. At the time, it was controversial, and I understood why. I think we all understood why on the board. I do not think we've had any complaints regarding the e-bikes since then. Not that it's the same thing, and not that allies your concerns about, the noise and danger. But so the short answer is no, I have not.
Okay,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't even know what an e-bike is, but
I didn't know until we started talking about it either. But it's I guess it's a bike that's got electricity in it, so you don't have to pedal as hard, and they go very fast.
oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, electric bike. Yeah.
it's fine. Thanks.
Now, I expect some good questions from you because you're actually a hunter up here, so. Delegate Boucher.
I have to say, Commissioner Gehring, of all the things you've done since you replaced me, this seems to be the dearest to my heart. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, just last night, riding up to Tawnytown, I had 2 deer run out on me just getting from Woodbine to Tawnytown. So it's a big issue, especially for our farming community. And they want additional harvest because the damage is having economically to the biggest industry of our county. So I applaud you on this. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sorry. Senator Reedy?
I wanted to be sure I understood this. So right now, we allow hunting. You're adding 5 Sundays. That would mean that it's every Sunday during hunting season.
That's correct.
But there's 5 Sundays you're adding, what you're saying is 4 of those Sundays fall within the bow season, correct?
Yes, Senator.
So there's only one more Sunday that would allow for shot with muzzle loader, right?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's muzzleloader or rifle, but you are correct. Firearm. Yes, Senator.
And currently on private property, you can hunt during the season anytime, but you can't hunt on Sundays. That's the thing. Except for you have to. I'm trying to remember it. We did work out like a compromise. So we're just trying to be sure we're covering bases here. Yeah.
You are correct. It's strictly private land, and those Sundays, you cannot. The few hunters that reached out to me, and I understand it's anecdotal, but being able to hunt an extra 5 days on a weekend is something they would treasure with their families as well, not only themselves, because Monday through Fridays you're working, and
Yeah,
it
sure.
doesn't leave you a lot of time on the weekends. So that was some positive feedback. I haven't received any negative feedback, but at this point, if people are watching, I imagine the concerns would come in.
Well, this is one reason why we do the hearing early, and we won't vote and this is just general. We won't vote these until we get into session, so we have time to hear from public feedback. But it's good to know that it's for muzzle. It's for the first 4 of the Sundays you'd be adding would not be ones that would. We mentioned the horse community, but also just people, wanting to. There may be outdoor activities they like to do when they know it won't be hunting. So
Yes,
that's good to know.
Yes, and again, being on private land, that should mitigate some of those concerns. Ironically, there are, I think it's 11 counties in the state that allow Sunday hunting for almost every Sunday, and also on public land as well. And I couldn't begin to tell you how they were managed to acquire that right. We're talking about land that's also owned by DNR and the counties. Those are wildlife management areas and also cooperative wildlife management areas, but that's not what we're asking for here.
I appreciate that. Thanks for all the information. It's helpful. The other thing is a warning is that we have had, there could be, in the last couple of years, there's been counties that have tried to expand hunting, and it's supposed to be local control, but in Annapolis, there's been, again, I think it's been more in the House than the Senate, but there's been some challenges with those local bills passing. We try to explain these are shooting animals that hit cars, and people eat the meat generally, so it's a good thing. But just as but that's not germane to whether we'll support it or not. It's just to be aware.
Unfortunately, the Board of Carroll County Commissioners knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not as nearly a slam dunk as it might seem. I know I was telling Senator Reedy earlier, Delegate Rose, I think earlier, that I was sitting in a committee watching, I think it was a delegate from St. Mary's County trying to do something similar on a Sunday, and it was not going well in that hearing. But it doesn't mean we can't, we won't try for it. Delegate Boucher?
I just want to add, I think adding the Sundays in the front end of the season is actually beneficial to senior citizens. There's a lot of senior citizens, as the season progresses and it's snowy and icy and real cold, the amount of hunting they do tapers off, so they're more likely to hunt on the front end, so the additional days in the beginning of the season would be beneficial to our senior hunters.
That's a great point. Delegate Boucher, and the fact that you can now hunt crossbow, and those are permitted, are allowing older folks to get out there and hunt
I
as well.
just bought one for my dad yesterday.
There you go.
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, delegation. Appreciate it.
And do we have anybody else in attendance who wants to comment on this bill?
Feels like a big hunter.
Is there anybody here who has an investment in horses?
Since I own a horse farm, I just want to, the word's not out yet. It will get out, and you will get pushback. And I just know, fox hunting is very dear to them as much as it is deer hunting to others. So I don't think, I've not heard anything about this at all, but I know my dear friends will hear about it very soon, and you will get a pushback, because the same thing is they're fighting for their days also. So, but that's the joy of the sport. So, there you go.
Yeah. Any other comments from the public? Nope. All right, thank you. Senator Reedy?
We're going to move now to the portion of the program of the evening where we're going to hear from our community groups and local governments about a request for legislative bond initiatives in the state's capital budget, which is different than the operating budget. The operating budget has a deficit. We're going to spending a lot of time on that this session. The capital budget is part of the budget process, but it's obviously capital expenditures and investments. In that, there is usually a pot of money, almost always a pot of money set aside for what's known as legislative bond initiatives. Those are projects that are for capital expenditures for community groups or local governments that have specific projects. Generally, they like them to be shovel-ready or as close to shovel-ready as possible, that can get a small, what they used to call them bond bills, now they're called bond initiatives, and it's a small grant, a capital grant from the state. Generally speaking, to get larger sums than a few $100,000 or a couple $100,000, you have to try to get into the governor's capital budget. The governor has a pool of money that you can request to try to be in. And but if you're not included in that, we are able to try to seek funding for local groups. We have to caution that even though capital budget's separate from the operating budget this year, there are pressures on the capital budget as well. For 2 or 3 years, there was a tremendous amount of money flowing through the capital budget, and we did our best, and we did pretty well at capturing some of that revenue and bringing it to Carroll County. But it's getting much more targeted now. So what we want to do is hear from groups that would like us to put in a legislative bond initiative for them on their behalf and hear about their projects. And we're going to do them one by one. We would love to promise you all that we'll get exactly what you're asking for. We'll do it for all of you. We won't be able to. There will be limits on it. And we will have to work. We have some ability to interface with that. And then we have some ability to negotiate a little bit and try to, but we also, some of it is done for us. We don't always get a lot of choice on exactly how much money we get. So with that said, I do want to have Delegate Stanko, who sits on the House Appropriations Committee that gets the budget, say a few words, and then we'll move on.
Sure. Yeah. It's a sobering year, sobering 5 years ahead of us for the operating and the capital budget, just in the context of how money gets allocated. Because while there's a capital, just kind of adding into the capital budget piece, and just a quick kind of front-looking number, in 2030, the projected operating budget is $6 billion, a $6 billion structural deficit. From like a simple apples to apples, that is a bigger percentage deficit than Maryland was in the Great Recession, at the height of the Great Recession. So I think that kind of gives the simplest and quickest way to understand the scale of the deficits that's in front of us. Historically, we've been able to, and we've had success here. Westminster City had success with this, along with some others. We've been also able to get funds put into the operating budget as grants instead of as bond initiatives. And that has helped kind of widen the pie that we've been able to do. I really have no idea what that looks like coming into this year, and where the governor's priorities will be, where the appropriations chair and the budget and tax chairman will sit on the Senate side. I think we all work together. So I think as simple as we've done this since from the beginning. I'm in District 42C as with Senator West, but we've always taken an approach to try to balance where the funds are distributed in Carroll County, whatever we do get, and we'll continue to do that with a very diligent thought process around what we can bring home, and we'll try our best. So.
Thank you, Delegate Snuckle. I probably should have just had you explain the budget, not me start talking. I started talking. It's an occupational hazard. Okay, so let's start with, you know what? I don't know if I have the list in front of me. I've got a list of, just to go in order. We can, this is in no particular order. Okay, let's start with ARC of Carroll County. We'll start there. And I have a handy dandy list now, and it's not even in alphabetical order, so it's definitely not prejudicial. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Don Rao. I'm the executive director at the ARC Carroll County. I'm here with Corinne Corpus, our board president, and Jen Johnson, our director of development. The ARC provides supports and services to many of those in the community with developmental and intellectual disabilities. In 2025, the ARC Carroll County will proudly celebrate 70 years of dedicated service and advocacy for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. For 70 years, we have provided services such as meaningful day service, support services, employment assistance, and for more than 50 years, community living and residential options. We currently own and operate 8 homes, many of which have undergone critical upgrades and renovations to better serve our residents. And today we are here to talk about our need to expand our residential program. And it's my pleasure to introduce Jen Johnson.
Thank you, Don, and thank you to the delegation, and I'll say a special thank you to the commissioners as well. As Don mentioned, in celebration of our 70th anniversary, we are excited to announce our plan to raise the roof on 2 new homes. Thanks to the incredible generosity of the commissioners, the land was provided from the county, and that we actually have addresses and dirt and ready to roll. So the homes that we're building will have a state-of-the-art adaptive features such as roll-in showers, accessible kitchens, and barrier-free environments. That's especially important to the individuals we serve because not only do they have some physical disabilities, but they have an evolving disability based on age. So as they age, it's going to be continually more challenging for them to navigate their environment. The initiative goes beyond mere construction. It's about building homes where these individuals will engage with the community and lead fulfilling lives. And these are not just houses, but truly the home in which they themselves and their family will have a sense of security for their long-term care. And with that, I'll turn it back.
Thank you, Jen. I'd like to now introduce our board president, Corinne Corpus.
Thank you all, and thank you for coming out to see us a couple months ago. I know Delegate Rose wasn't feeling well that day, but we loved having you all there, and please come out for a visit to the ARC when you have the opportunity. Thank you all again for this opportunity to make this much-needed request. As a volunteer at the ARC, I'm proud of our commitment to make sure that people who have selected the ARC receive the best care. And that care includes the opportunity to be independent and fully engaged in the life of the community. Our board is fully committed to this project and is actively engaged in the planning and the funding. As with other projects, we're requesting bond funding to help with, not fully fund this endeavor. We've been working with donors, foundations, and other sources to help secure the funds that we need. We greatly appreciate your continued support and your consideration, and we look forward to working with you to hopefully fund this request. Thanks again for hearing us this evening.
Delegate Rose?
I just had a question. What is the amount that you're looking?
$150,000.
Thank you.
So just kind of in closing and maybe to answer some other questions. So we've already secured some help from Heidelberg Lehigh Cement. They're going to donate to us, Shelter Systems, a couple other community organizations as well. And then, this whole thing got started with the generosity of our commissioners who donated some land to us. That has been a tremendous success and help to us. So really it's becoming a kind of a community funded and supported project. And of course the ARC will step in and help with that as well with some funding. We believe it's important that we also contribute.
Thank you. Any questions? Oh, Senator West.
Just a quick one. Has the ARC received any bond money from the state within the last 5 years, or will this be your first?
We did. No, 2 years ago, we made a request for some bond funding to renovate some of our homes. Our folks had, the pandemic was hard because everybody was home and they really took a beating. So we got, I think it was $100,000 to renovate some bathrooms and kitchens and provide some roll-in showers for a couple homes that we wanted to, make a little nicer for some folks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love the ARC. And since you mentioned, since Don mentioned, I'll also say, kind of for the record, and again for people watching that don't know about this process, it used to be to get a legislative bond initiative, you actually had to have matching funds from the state. That actually isn't technically a requirement anymore, but it certainly helps the cause when you have matching funds. The goal is that you're putting state money in with other funds that'll help get a project across the finish line. So it's certainly great to hear about that. And if you're going to testify tonight and can talk about matching funds, it doesn't hurt to mention that as part of your presentation. With that, let's go ahead and move to the town of Mount Airy and the Mount Airy Flatiron Building.
Ashley Collier is handing out a little handout for you. She is the director of our community development in Mount Airy. My name is Larry Husher. I'm the mayor of Mount Airy. And we have a council member here, Councilmember Munder, who showed up tonight as well. So what we want to talk about is the Flatiron Building. A couple of you have come down and visited the building. It is a mainstay in Mount Airy that sits right in the middle of the road, and it's a historic building. The significance of it is it's a historic building that's never burned down in Mount Airy, which is very significant. But building was built in 1903. It's been used as the American Legion, the museum, our state trooper's office. It's been used as town hall, the library. It's been used for all kinds of things over the years, as well as retail when it was built. About 2 years ago, the council came around to deciding to restore the building, and that's the process that we're currently in. We're trying to eat an elephant on this thing because it's not only the building, it's the accompanying property that's around it, trying to figure out a safe pedestrian access around the building where we only have about a 3-foot sidewalk on Main Street. We have a rock that's right behind the building that is hard to build on. So we have a lot to do with this building. The overall project is going to be roughly a $3 million project. So we're definitely trying to eat an elephant. We've broke it down to the point that what we're currently working on is just to restore the building and bring it back into a usable means for the town, which would include a little bit of retail as well as some government office in it, and then also overflow for the museum in town. So that's kind of where we're at. What we're asking for is $300,000 to go toward that process. We've already invested $150,000 that we got from the Department of Housing and Community Development. The taxpayers have invested in this, and when it was decided to restore the building, we formed a task force, and we have roughly 30 members who show up to task force meetings. Sometimes we skip a month, But generally, when there's something going on, for example, this weekend, they'll be decorating the building for Christmas, getting it ready to go. We decorate it for the 4th of July. We're actually raffling off the second floor of the building to watch our Christmas parade in. So we're slowly trying to get people back into the building. When we went to a police department, the state trooper moved out, and probably an error at the time is we didn't immediately stick somebody back in there. So the building sat vacant for roughly 5 years, and now we're trying to open the door, work through our insurance company. We've had a company come in and take air samples, make sure the building was okay to bring people back in, and we're slowly trying to get this building back into useful shape. But ultimately, it needs a full restoration, as well as remediating everything around it, to include stormwater management and our Main Street and Park Avenue. So that's where we're at on it. Brennan and Associates, they're an architectural firm, came in and did a mock-up of this, and the council decided on keeping the building where it's at, doing a 3-floor renovation on it, adding an elevator to it for ADA purposes, and of course, restructuring everything around it. So that's where we're at on the building, and I'll let Ashley talk a little bit to the community development aspect, and then we'll open it up for any questions.
So our Main Street is actually one of our designated main streets for Carroll County. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in. And the walkability of our Main Street is something that this building, as it currently stands, there's a left side if you're coming in from Town Hall, or the right from the other, that you can't really walk, you can't have a stroller, you couldn't have a wheelchair. It's just not accessible. And on the day-to-day, people are trying to navigate our Main Street, and they walk by this building and they kind of run into the dead end of Park Avenue coming up, as well as the sidewalk. It's quite treacherous. We've had vacancies over the years, and the town has been very proactive in filling those. We've done incubator programs, we've done all kinds of things to revitalize our downtown, and it really shows. If you come and look at our bank building that was on Main Street for a long time, it's now a beautiful brewery. So this is one of the last sections of our Main Street that if we could rejuvenate it and activate the lower level as retail, that we would have something that's truly like a gem for our Main Street. Right now, it's a detriment. It's a safety hazard. There's no ADA, and there's no retail there. So I would much rather see it activated, see a business on that first level, and it would improve our entire downtown economy. With the brewery coming in, I've looked at Placer AI analytics, and we're up 150% over last year with cell phone pings on our Main Street. So tourism and traffic is coming to Mount Airy, and it would be very beneficial if we could have it ready to meet the public. So I kindly request that you consider this. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Delegate Boucher.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to thank the mayor and your staff for giving us on a delegation tours this building. I'm a big history nerd, and I was a businessman about economic development, and I see this as a very nice, unique centerpiece in downtown Mount Airy that will attract more tourists. I think it blends perfectly with the historical decor down there. I like what the town did after you had the fire, and thank goodness it didn't burn this building down. But it stays in tune with that theme you have, and I think it'll have a tremendous benefit to your downtown economic development, especially if your location being so close to 70. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to access if you come from out of town to come into Mount Airy. So I'm a big champion advocate of this. It's a long shot for us with the budget being as tight as it is, but I'm sure we're in tune with what you want, and we'll fight for you. So thank you very much for presenting this today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I know that you've requested help from the governor. You've sent a letter to the governor's staff, and we did send a delegation letter in support of that request. We don't know if you had a couple of requests, and this was one of them. We'll see what happens with the governor's capital budget. Will come out later in January, so we'll see. If we get things in the capital budget, it's a lot easier to fight to keep them there than it is to try to get something in. But we'll see. We'll certainly see what we can do. Thank you. Anybody else?
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I make one last comment?
Please.
I run the town's social media as well, and we have a pretty good presence. We're almost up to 15,000 followers, and we do a Throwback Thursday every Thursday. And we put a photo up of just the Flatiron, and it went viral. We have over 108,000 views and interactions with a photo of this building. So it resonates with a lot of people. So I just want to leave that with you.
That's great. Thank you. Our next, I have Glenwood Academy. Is anyone here from Glenwood Academy? They may have sent some information. I don't know if anybody's here. Okay. We have the Union Bridge Fire Department. Do we have a representative? We have something in our file. You have something in your file from Union Bridge Fire Department. I know they were a requester last year as well at our hearing. I don't know if anybody came this time. So it's the HVAC, their HVAC request. Okay. I have the VFW Post 8806, which I believe is also in Union Bridge. So thank you. Come on up.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. My name's Charles Zimmerman. I'm the post commander for VFW Post 8806 in Union Bridge. Just a little background on your organization. Like most veteran service organizations, we were chartered in 1947. We have 107 registered members and is a 501c19 organization. The mission, again, like most veteran service organizations, not only to foster camaraderie with all U.S. veterans, but also to advocate on behalf of those veterans. And we are also a community-based organization as well, so it's not just for veterans. For example, in making donations is for suicide prevention awareness. We've made donations to the town of Union Bridge, the Lions Club, local churches. We've cleaned up Union Bridge Park. So what I'm getting at is it's not just for veterans, but we also work for the town and the community. Now, getting to what we're asking for is a request for a new roof. And to tell you a little bit about the building, the original building was built in 1952, and it was all volunteer. And the material for it was all done through fundraising. And subsequently, in 1970 and 1973, we did additions onto that building, and the same building is still there. Again, the labor was done through volunteer labor, and we were pretty lucky because a lot of the people in the area, they were either skilled tradespeople or they knew friends of tradespeople, that some guy knew how to bricklay, some other guy knew carpentry, so it was all volunteer based. So as you can see, it's a pretty old building, and we've gotten to the point where we really need a new roof, and it's beyond the scope of what we can afford. And so I was looking in the capital budget in years past, and I saw that other service organizations were given money through the state, either for new parking lots or even new buildings. So I brought it up to our membership that this might be the route to go. We're asking for $51,600. I believe Meg gave you guys our summary sheet and a quote from one of the companies that we solicited. We looked at 3 companies in the Carroll County area, and the estimate that you have in front of you is the best one that we saw, matched our needs. And again, we've been pretty lucky through the years that, we've been able to get volunteers to help us if there was problems with the building, that somebody knew somebody that could help us. And in this case, the roof is a little beyond our scope, and there's one section of the roof above the dining room that you can't walk on. So I think that's pretty telling. And again, there's what we're asking for, $51,600. If, because for some reason the budget, you think you can get us some money and not all of it, in this case, I guess, to be honest, beggars can't be choosers. Whatever you can give us, we'll take. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Delegate Rose first, and we'll have Delegate Snaka.
Yes, ma'am.
And I see that it's a metal roof. Are you going to replace it with a metal roof?
Yes, ma'am.
Because don't they last like 99 years?
I don't know. I'm not a roofer. I was just told it.
It's the best you can get, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's also, I believe the roofing company said that some of that has to be brought in from overseas, and that's another reason why it's expensive. And again, I'm not a roofer, so I can't give you anything technical, but
Okay.
that's what we're asking for, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming today. I'm just thinking through things proactively, right? I was thinking about this for the ARC as well. If you can do two things for me or in concert with as well, is the Governor's Office of Veteran Affairs has specific grants that they will do because it's important to him. And he's paid special attention to New Windsor and Union Bridge since he's been elected. He's been out there a couple of times between the two. And so I would encourage you to think about contacting them as well proactively. And we'll make sure we put together a letter of support as well, because it's the senator's earlier comment. If we can get things into his budget and things that are priorities to him, then we can use our funds to support other groups. And so I think about like there's just different things or priorities. I think this would be one that might be special to him. So I would recommend that as well.
Yes, sir. I understand that the governor was at Pipe Creek Cemetery for Wreaths Across America last year.
Yep.
And
we'll connect with you afterwards, and we'll see if we can get that's a great suggestion. We'll see if we can get the Veterans Secretary, who's a great guy. We actually work closely with.
Woods.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. So we'll see if there might be. That'd be great. I mean, because this is the kind of thing that there are these LBIs for, but sometimes there are pots of money, fire and veterans. That's a weird combination, but sometimes different pots of money for different things that fit into an agency budget. So we'll have to see. That'd be great. But either way, we definitely want to try to help. And thank you. This is actually really helpful to understand exactly what the quote is and what you need.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think the last one that I have on here was the Eldersburg Elementary Playground, which we did have some funding we got for them last year. They had a supplemental request, which they could not be here tonight, so they sent us an email. We'll be sure everybody gets the email if they didn't get it already. And, yep, we're good. And then I think that's the last. You got one late. Is there any? I can just ask if anybody else here. Is there any other group here that wanted to present a? Okay, great. Just all right.
Senator, what was the supplemental request amount?
I think it was another. I think Eldersburg Elementary, another 75,000. So we'll take a look at it. Great. So now, and I can turn it over to Chris in a minute, but our next thing will be, we wanted to have an opportunity for anyone who had an issue or concern on their mind dealing with the state legislature or state policy issues to be able to come and share or ask questions. And so we will start a line, but I'll start with this gentleman here, and state your name for the record, sir.
Melvin Bale Jr., and I apologize for rushing to the microphone, but I've got to be at McDaniel at 7:30 for a basketball game. I do the score clock, the scoreboard. Anyway, what I'm here about is the NVRP. And I think that would be appropriately named the Northern Virginia Reliability Project, because it is not the Maryland Piedmont Reliability Project. There's a couple of things that we do that we have had them agree to. They will not make, during the negotiation process, landowners sign a non-disclosure agreement. Other power companies have done that in other areas of the country, but they have vowed not to do that. I personally own two Mouth properties, and it says my property can be excused from the easement for the benefit of a public utility or a public road that benefits Marylanders. And when I asked the real estate guy that at the Ag Center last week, he said, well, that's open for interpretation. So I'm just bringing that to your attention as a delegation. That's one of the points I think that's not open to interpretation in my view. The other thing that is very alarming to me, about 25 to 30% of this 70-mile line will be in forested areas. they are exempt. They are exempt from reforestation according to state law. That's not the county ordinance, that's the state law. So these are the issues that you need to be aware of going forward. So any questions? I got about 2 minutes, guys, maybe less.
Thank you very much. I know you've shared a couple of those things with me, and I'm glad you're sharing it with everybody. And we definitely are working on a number of those
and
things.
I know
yeah.
that, and I appreciate the delegation and the county commissioners being on board against this project, and I fail to see any benefit to Carroll Countyans in this. And the other point I want to make is, in 1977-78, when they developed the Ag Land Preservation Program and program open space with the Ag Transfer Tax, and then the county at some point in time decided to go ahead and increase their funding so that they could tag along with the state program. It's estimated there's over $1 billion has been spent by the statewide in ag land preservation. We spent probably like $300 million here in Carroll County. We did not sell that to the public as landowners, as farmers, to be a holding company for utility lines in the future. So, okay, sorry, I got to get to McDaniel.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here tonight that wanted to make a comment?
I'm back. Good evening, members of the delegation. I'm Marcia Herbert, President of the Carroll County Board of Education. Thank you for providing me this time to speak. As you're well aware by now, Blueprint is going to drastically change Carroll County Public Schools. I am here this evening to ask you to support amending Blueprint during the upcoming legislation session. CCPS is one of the counties, few counties, in the state to have met all requirements for our career ladder structure, and a lot of them are looking at ours to follow. This is a major accomplishment which was not possible without the support of the commissioners, and another benefit is that we were able to retain and attract new teachers. This is the first year that we have been able to hire the cream of the crop for a long time, and we haven't. And we were also able to hire administrators from other counties. So that was a really big plus. And some of you might not know this, but another success was that we are partnering with Dr. Nancy Grasmick at Towson State University to provide much-needed help, support for our new teachers. And we hope that we will also be able to employ more teachers from Towson State University. While we've had successes, many challenges still loom. And the amount of school system time and energy being devoted to Blueprint is overwhelming. There's two parts that I would like to talk about. Physical compliance. 75% compensatory and 25% to run the school system. We still have to meet these requirements, spending on Blueprint funding within the mandated restrictions. The state has given local boards 3 years to achieve compliance. Dr. McCabe has a team working on a plan to meet compliances, which will be completed in the new calendar year. This process will change the staffing across Carroll County. Dr. McCabe cannot run a school system with the 25% that's left. I hope that you all can change that to 50-50. 75% follows the child, and you cannot run a school system for that. Teacher time requirement. As you know, Blueprint requires that to phase in. Teacher time, 60% teaching, and then 40% time of engaging in professional activities. This Blueprint mandate, which phases in over 8 years, will require sizable increase in staffing. And right now, there's none available. And in 8 years, there's still, because every county in the state of Maryland will be trying to hire the same pool of employees, and it will not happen. The cost for more staffing will be a major physical challenge on top of inflationary cost and compensation increases for the staff. Moving to 60/40 is also requiring us to review schedules for all three levels: elementary, middle, and high school. Blueprint is mandated by the Maryland law. We are legally required to follow it. We have no choice. We will be reallocating sources, including teachers, from one area of the county to the other. This means that many of our schools will be experiencing fewer resource teachers and larger class sizes. Some schools will benefit tremendously, but it will come at a cost of shifting resources, which means the schools will suffer. And there's no accountability. Absolutely amazing. We need your support and we need your help. I am asking you to please support amending Blueprint during this upcoming legislative session with those two suggestions. It's just going to water down. And we have, I will say, in our 8 years, we've had great scores. We have accomplished many things. But this is going to water down Carroll County Public Schools. And it's a shame because we have been the top the whole time I've been here for the last, and we really do need your help. It's a sad state of affairs. Unfunded mandates. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert? The 60/40 teacher
Ratio?
they teach 60%, 40% time. What scientific metrics or data did they use to say that's the right percentage?
I think they just pulled them out of the air.
What
Because
about-
I really believe, how many educators were on that group?
I remember there were no,
Thank
with
you.
the exception of the Senate president, the now Senate president, who was not Senate president then. There was nobody on that commission that had ever taught in a classroom before.
I was told they were pulling numbers out of the air. And just like I said, 75-25, she cannot run a school system with 25% of the base. And then 60/40. There is just,
I'm going to ask you one follow-up with the 75-25, and because we don't want to keep everybody here too long, but this is actually, I think, an important thing. We all believe generally, as conservatives, at least I do, that money following the child is the way you want to run a school system. So when you hear that, oh, it's got to follow the child, what does that mean? Explain to me, in Carroll County, in some places where you have huge pockets of poverty, it would not be as much of an issue. But
Absolutely.
because of we have poor students that would fit under this, but they're not. I mean, I don't know if
and
you
what
can
is going
elaborate.
to happen is we will be taking teachers out of the south end and we will sending them to the north end. And I will tell you, I went to the MABE convention in October and I asked them to leave us alone. We know what we're doing and we've done a great job. And we got the career ladder completed. Leave us alone. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, I
And
think
I'm
Delegate
at-
Rose has a question.
Yes, ma'am. Just for the record, I know we went over this. We spoke. First of all, I want to thank you for your years of service on our school board. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
During one of the hardest times any school board has ever done, including Kenny Kyler.
I know. Yes.
And Tyra.
Tyra, yes. We went
So
through some things.
I
but-
just want to thank you. But just so we have it for the record, I know we spoke about this at our joint meeting before. So we're looking at what kind of class sizes would you say?
Oh, we're talking about 40 in elementary schools
40
now.
and
Yes.
40 students or more.
And you will, in high school, will have 50 in gym, in physical education
Right.
classes or more.
And then also, which I think is extremely.
And that is all against everything we have been preaching about in education. That's why I
Right.
said just leave us alone.
And the other point that I think is very important for the public to know is what we discussed, that I just want to have, I'm sorry, and then I'll be quiet.
No.
All of the offerings of classes, Blueprint is supposed to be about workforce development, STEM education, things of that nature. And I believe that you brought up, and it was brought up, that we're going to lose a lot of those offerings for our
Yes, we
high
will.
school students.
We will not
And-
be able to afford them.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was on the
Right.
record.
Oh, absolutely. That should be on the record. And I thank you, and I've enjoyed my 8 years, and
And thank you for always taking my phone calls.
absolutely.
Hold on, you're not done. You're not done.
Yes.
Can't get away.
No, it's fine.
I know that just yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, we had a caucus call, and I know that I think it's Delegate April Miller is going to have a bill that will looking to modify that 60/40. So there's definitely legislation coming forward with that.
It's going to be like 4 to 6 bills. I think we're going to.
Yeah, there's going to be and there's going to be more than just that one, all kind of chipping away at Blueprint. And then you started off by talking about that the school system's been able to pick up
Some
recruit
excellent,
teachers
excellent
and
new
administrators.
Yes,
from-
absolutely. And we were one of the first counties to get to the career ladder, get the 60,000 and to implement the career ladder. And people around the state are asking to see ours. Ours is 2 pages. Other counties had 16 pages of a career ladder. Keep it simple.
And these are teachers and administrators.
Absolutely.
Also coming from
Yes,
other counties.
Yes, from other counties, yes.
That's very interesting. Because it's weird. Because
We have
on
great school
Facebook, you'll see the opposite. I don't want to call out Commissioner Kenny Kyler, but he refers to these people as specifically his haters.
He does have haters.
They'll say that the teachers are fleeing Carroll County.
Right.
No, they're not.
So that's good to hear.
No, we have great teachers. We need to retain them and keep them. But this year I think we only had 4 openings at the beginning of school, and that says a lot for Carroll County.
Absolutely.
So.
That's awesome.
But I mean, the whole board, and I will tell you, Dr. McCabe is first class, and her team, and they do think out of the box, and it has not been easy. And because you all know that 2 years ago, we did a dog and pony show. We went out, and the first school, there was standing room only in a cafeteria, and it was packed. And then we had one here, and she has continually tried to tell people, and people looked at us like we had 4 heads. Well, come to find out, we didn't have to say anything this year because everybody else is saying, whoa. And then I saw today that Harford County is going to be 60 million in the hole, and they're going to close schools. It's, according to the banner. Now, I know sometimes you got to say those things to get people's interest, but this is what's going to happen. It already happened in Garrett County. They already closed schools up there because they're not going to be able to meet this.
Delegate Boucher.
If I may, very quickly, for the viewing audience out there, to note something that we know, that Delegate Tomlinson here was a student of yours.
Yes, he was.
And I think
And there's another student right there.
that is a
Great
testament.
guys. They were just wonderful young men.
That is truly a testament to your legacy in this county.
She's calling you guys.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not saying a word.
Well, you've done well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was straight and narrow there, and I still am. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, you go ahead. Do we have anybody else, or?
Good evening. Yes, this is rather different because I'm on the other side and I haven't been on this side for over 6 years, so this is a little odd. Good evening. My name is Tyra Battaglia, and I am here as an advisor for the Be Ray of Sunshine Foundation. The foundation was founded almost 2 years ago in the name of Mackenzie Cash, who was a student at a local high school. Her family started the foundation to bring awareness regarding bullying, bullying laws, public safety awareness, and bringing awareness to the lack of mental health counselors and therapists that accept private insurance. Last year, we had a wonderful opportunity to testify in Annapolis on a bill that Delegate Chris Tomlinson had submitted to help with the victim of bullying, that they would not receive the same punishments as their bullying aggressor. While this bill did not make it to the floor, the response from those during the testimony was positive. Many of those fellow delegates commented on their own experiences with their children or family members that were victims of bullying in our schools. The victims need to feel protected and valued. Parents need to feel that their child will be protected, and those that help protect them and stand up to bullying will not be punished. There needs to be better accountability on those that are disruptive in the learning environment, harm students online or in person or out of school, and parents need to be held accountable for their children's actions. Public spaces where there are large gatherings such as bowling alleys, shopping areas like malls or shopping centers, and places like skating rings should have working cameras inside and outside their facilities. All too often, we hear that businesses that do have cameras help law enforcement tremendously when a crime is committed. This is also a deterrent for crimes to not be committed and can prevent someone from harming another individual, such as fights, robberies, or carjackings. As a foundation, we hear from many parents that they are unable to find mental health therapists for their child. Much of this is not because of a lack of therapists, but it's because the therapists do not accept private insurance. They only accept government insurance. This is a major roadblock in helping children. Many times, a child needs to talk to someone about how they're feeling. This is the opportunity to have a mental health coach help children that need additional support. Obviously, if that child exhibits self-harm, abuse, or thoughts of suicide, then the mental health coach can refer the child and the parent to a mental health counselor or therapist. This would help a lot of the barriers. Anyone that cares for a child's well-being can become a mental health coach with the appropriate training. While we understand substance abuse is a big issue, statistically, those that are bullied will begin substance abuse as a coping mechanism. This was not the case for Mackenzie, but she was prescribed anxiety medications to handle the bullying she was received. There was no counseling available for her with her parents' private insurance, and many families cannot pay out of pocket for those counseling services either. The culture, the discrimination, and the stigma needs to change. There are a few states that have laws to help those that are being bullied, charge the bully, and suggest surveillance in busy public spaces, and such states as California, which Maryland is the armpit of California, so, it's good reference. I've also had the opportunity to meet with the Youth Service Project here in Westminster, and they offer great services for children. Again, bullying situations, not such great home environments. Something that was brought to my attention is that a lot of those that are volunteers, they're unable to get them background checked. There's not a service around here that is available for nonprofits to get adults background checked to help with children. So I do think that is something that also needs to be looked at, particularly for nonprofits to be part, get that service. Something I also heard from them was that the victims that are being bullied, they are isolated. They are told to go have lunch in the media center, and they are told to, stay away from the bully. The bully is not supervised. They're allowed to go about their day. And it's not right to isolate the victim whatsoever. So again, the climate of everything needs to change. I do thank you guys for everything you do in Annapolis. Chris, thank you so much for working with the foundation. We can't thank you enough for everything you're attempting to do, trying to do, and for all of you for, what you do for the citizens here. So thank you.
Thank you, Tara, for bringing this to everyone's attention. I'm scheduled to meet with Sam Boardman on Tuesday and tour the Youth Services Bureau. I'll bring this issue about the bullying up to him and see what he has to say, what their experience is with. And I'm sure between now and then, you'd all be communicating with me and prepping me ahead of time. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you and I need to have a discussion before you go there. How do I say this? There are organizations in the county that receive taxpayer funds. And when asked, because obviously, Blueprint, for example, they're requiring telehealth. And when I had a meeting there at that facility that you're going to, and I had made the suggestion about, telehealth and, is there a way that maybe the school system could work with them, or have someone available in our schools where, like a student could sign up for a counselor, since, they get funding from the county commissioners, the response was, well, we could probably make it billable to the school system. We can bill the school system. And I had to take a step back from that because I'm sitting there going, so they're going to double dip the taxpayer? These are things that the foundation is finding. So, yeah, you and I need to have a discussion.
Thank you very much.
Senator Reedy?
Thank you so much for bringing this up, and we're going to keep working on. Delegate Thomas actually had a great partner in the Senate on the other side of the aisle. It's a very bipartisan issue on it, but I know it came up a little short of getting out of committee, but hopefully we can get it out. This is something I've heard about relative to bullying behavior, that if a child that's the bully does something, it can be called a function of their disability. And that's often the reason why they can't be removed or they aren't punished?
From my understanding, there are laws in place that if a student has an IEP or a 504, that is kind of like their reasoning why they can't do anything.
We have a cultural problem where, and I think those laws are actually federal laws, and they've been on the books for a long time, but the way things are being interpreted now more and more has made it even harder, because a child who has some sort of learning disability can be called disabled, and they are disabled in a way, but that doesn't mean that they get to punch somebody. And in some cases, that's happening. Now, other times there's just garden variety bullying, but it's not always somebody involved. But all of us understand if someone who really has a disability is flails around and hits somebody by accident or even on purpose, but doesn't really know what they're doing. But it's interesting. It's a multi-layered problem. I know I met with a parent a little while ago who's very concerned about bullying in the schools and is trying to do something about it. And we're finding more and more that it's federal law. There's federal law that needs to change, which none of us can do anything about sitting here. But it's concerning to me, and I think our school system, and I know, of course, you're on the Board of Education, and I've spoken to, Dr. McCabe about this as well. As much as we can, we want to try to be sure we're pushing to the fullest extent of what we're allowed to do, that anybody who's bullying somebody needs to be dealt with. There shouldn't be any tolerance for it. And, but there are some laws that sort of tie our hands sometimes. So we definitely want to keep working on that like we're doing at the state level. So thank you for sharing with us today.
Yeah, and I met with them for a couple hours last night, the foundation, and we just kind of brainstormed up a couple different ideas to play around with. So I know I'll be running with. I would like to reintroduce the bill I did earlier this year, but we've got a couple other ideas if anybody else wants to take a stab at it.
And we thank you very much for attending last night. Sorry we took a lot of your time. We're some very passionate mamas.
I still got dinner. It was late, but Molly warmed it up. It was all right. Some good chili.
Very passionate mamas, and
Yes. Senator Chris West, this was the bill that I did with Senator Jill Carter. So when Senator Reedy says that there was bipartisan support, he meant it.
Strange bedfellow.
Yes. No, and there were some good co-sponsors as well from both sides of the aisle on the bill. So so hopefully we can try to reintroduce that and some others.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have anybody else in the room who wants to give a comment? Last call. All right.
And if anybody has observed in the public, you're welcome to contact now myself and Delegate Tomlinson, and we'll be happy to share any comments with the entire delegation as well if you have any comments or concerns. So, I'm going to adjourn us.
All right. Do I get to use? Did you bring this, or was this here?
That was here.
I mean, if it's here, we got to use it.
Yeah.
You got to make a motion. To adjourn.
Like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you.
All right.